You're standing at a counter, holding a card you're not sure will go through. The person behind it barely looks at you. Their eyes drift past you to the next customer before you've even finished your sentence. You're not rude, you're not loud, you're just not worth their full attention. You feel it land somewhere in your chest, that small, familiar weight. And somewhere across the same city, a man walks into a room, and the entire room rearranges itself around him. People stand a little straighter. Voices go a little softer. Doors that were closed are suddenly being held open with a smile. He didn't earn that in the last 5 minutes. He bought it years ago. Here is the uncomfortable truth almost no one says out loud. The way the world treats you has very little to do with who you are. It has almost everything to do with what you have. This is how society treats you at every level of wealth, from invisible all the way to untouchable. And by the end of this video, you will never look at a single interaction the same way again. 0. This is where most people begin, and it's where the world is quietest about you. At 0, you are not hated. You are something that hurts more than that. You are invisible. The waiter takes the order from the table beside you first, even though you got there before them. The salesperson glances at you, runs the math in half a second, and decides you're not worth crossing the floor for. Your card gets declined, and you watch the cashier's face do that tiny thing, that flicker, while a line of strangers behind you quietly decides they understand your whole life. It spreads into everything. The landlord who never calls back, the friend who stops inviting you out because you always have to say no, the relative who talks about you in the past tense, like your story already ended. And here is the part that quietly breaks people. You start to believe it's about you, that you're lazy, that you're less, that something is wrong with you specifically. It isn't. It never was. This is the oldest pattern in the human world. People treat the person with nothing as if they matter the least. But that pattern can be broken, and it starts breaking sooner than you'd think. $10,000. It won't change your life. It won't impress anyone. But it changes one thing first, and it's the most important thing of all. It changes the look in your own eyes. For the first time, your card goes through without that silent prayer. You stop bracing yourself at the checkout, and people feel that shift in you, even though they could never name it. You're still ordinary here. Nobody is impressed. But you've crossed an invisible line. You've gone from someone the world ignores to someone the world tolerates. The bank teller is polite now. Not warm, polite. The mechanic stops leading with the most expensive option. You're no longer treated like a problem to be contained. You're just a regular person now. And after being invisible, regular feels like a promotion you'd frame on a wall. But watch closely here, because this level teaches you something the next 6 will only confirm. The respect is conditional. It lasts exactly as long as the money lasts. Spend the $10,000, and you slide straight back into the silence. The world isn't responding to you. It's responding to your cushion, and your cushion has only just begun to grow. $50,000. Now the words people use about you start to change. You're not getting by anymore. You're doing well. It's the same you. The same jokes, the same face, the same opinions you always had. But the language has shifted. At dinner, when you start to speak, people actually wait until you finish. Your family stops worrying about you out loud and quietly starts using you as the example. Look at him. He figured it out. You get the small gifts the world hands to the people it considers stable, the better table when you ask for it, the benefit of the doubt when something goes wrong, the quiet assumption that you're responsible, that you're safe, that you belong in the room, and you'll catch yourself enjoying it. Of course you will. After being invisible, being treated as competent feels like sunlight on your face, But stay honest with yourself for 1 second. Not a single one of these people knows you any better than they did when you had nothing. They just know your number is bigger. The warmth is real, but it's pointed at your balance, not at your heart. That difference won't matter to you yet. Higher up the climb, it will matter more than anything else. $100,000. 6 figures. There's a reason that phrase carries weight. It's the first number that makes a stranger reclassify you on the spot. Before you've said one real thing about who you are, say it in the right room and watch the faces change. People who wouldn't have given you 10 seconds suddenly lean in. You become interesting. You become someone worth knowing. The treatment gets specific. The salesperson offers you the chair before you ask for it. Your messages get answered in minutes instead of days. People you've barely met start finding small reasons to stay close to you. And you'll meet a brand new kind of person at this level. The one who is suddenly very friendly, very curious about what you do, very eager to grab a coffee sometime. Some of them are genuine. A lot of them are doing arithmetic because at 6 figures, you quietly stop being someone people offer to help and start being someone people want something from. That isn't bitterness. It's just the new weather around you. The higher you climb, the more the warmth comes with a calculation hidden underneath it. You're being noticed now. Very soon, you'll be pursued. $250,000. Here, respect stops being something you earn in the moment and becomes something that is simply assumed about you before you've opened your mouth. You walk into the bank, and you're not standing in the line anymore. Someone comes out, greets you by your name, and walks you back to a quiet office with a door that closes. The same institution that once watched your account like you were a suspect now treats you like an honored guest. People start asking your opinion on things you know nothing about. Your confidence gets read as wisdom. The exact same sentence that sounded foolish when you were broke now sounds like vision. Nothing about your mind has changed, only the number sitting behind it. And the invitations begin to events, to groups, to rooms you didn't even know existed a year ago. The world has decided your worth, including. It feels incredible, and it should. You earned this, but notice the quiet trade being made underneath it all. The more the world respects your wealth, the harder it becomes to know who actually respects you. The two are starting to blur together, and from here, they only blur more. $1 million. There's a single word that does almost all of the work at this level. Millionaire. The moment that word attaches itself to your name, every introduction you're ever in changes. You start walking into rooms with a reputation that arrived before you did. People perform around you now. They laugh a little harder at your jokes. They remember your birthday this year. They send the message just to check in, with nothing to actually check in about. And the doors become almost embarrassing. The reservation that was completely full somehow has a table. The flight that was sold out finds one more seat. The rule that applies to everybody else has a small, quiet exception, just for you. This is where you finally understand something the wealthy have always known and almost never admit out loud. A shocking amount of the world's rules are negotiable if your balance is high enough. But here's what nobody warns you about at $1 million. You can no longer fully trust a smile because you can't tell anymore which smiles are meant for you and which ones are meant for your money. You've won the world's attention, and you've started, very quietly, to lose something else. $10 million. At this level, you stop chasing almost everything. Things come to you now, opportunities, invitations, people. All of it begins to arrive on its own. You don't fill out the form anymore. Someone fills it out for you and hands you the pen. The treatment turns into a kind of choreography. People don't just respect you. They manage you. They learn what you'll want before you want it. They quietly absorb the friction of ordinary life so that none of it ever reaches you. An entire layer of the world now exists whose only real job is to make sure you are never told no, and you'll start to feel the strange gravity of it. When you speak, people don't just listen. They search for the meaning behind your words, even when there isn't one. A passing joke becomes a strategy. An offhand comment becomes an instruction. Your power has grown so large that you can now hurt someone by accident, just by being a little colder one morning than you were the morning before. This is exactly where most people imagine the story ends. The respect, the access, the deference, all of it aimed at you like a spotlight. But there is one more level, and it changes everything you thought this video was about. At the very top, the world treats you as untouchable. You've reached the level you came here to see. People speak about you instead of to you. Your name opens any door long before your body ever walks through it. There is, quite literally, almost nothing left that money can purchase that you cannot simply have. And then you notice something you were not prepared for. The room has gone quiet in a way you can't quite explain. Because here is the brutal reality that the entire climb was carefully hiding from you. The more the world treats you according to your wealth, the less of the world ever reaches the actual person underneath it. At the very top, you are surrounded by people at all times, and almost none of them are speaking to you. They're speaking to the position, to the number, to what you can do for them. You can buy attention. You can buy deference. You can buy 1,000 people who will tell you exactly what you want to hear every single day. But there is one kind of respect that never appeared on the price list at any level, no matter how high you climbed. And by the time you reach untouchable, it turns out to be the only thing you find yourself missing. And that's the part no one tells you on the way up. Society will treat you better at every level you climb. That part is real, and you should climb anyway. Being invisible is not noble. Being broke does not make you good. So build the wealth, earn the seat, take the better table and the door that's held open for you. There is no prize for staying poor to prove a point, but never once make the mistake of believing the warmth is about you. Most of it was always pointed at the number, and the number can leave. So as you climb, keep one quiet list in the back of your mind. The people who treated you like you mattered when you had absolutely nothing to give them. The friend who answered the phone at 0. The person who loved you before a single upgrade. Those few are the only ones whose respect was ever truly yours. Go back to that counter for one moment. The one where the world looked straight through you, while you held a card you weren't sure would go through. Somewhere out there is a person who would have stood right beside you in exactly that moment, and never once thought less of you. That person's respect is the only kind your money will never be able to buy. Guard it more carefully than any amount you will ever earn, because you can build your way all the way to untouchable. But you only become truly rich the day you understand that the people around you would have stayed, even if you had stayed invisible. That's the one level no number on any screen can ever measure, and it's the only one truly worth aiming for. New stories from the other side, every day. I'll see you at the next level.